when I talk to people about internet abuse, one of the most common reactions is people to say, don't worry, it's just stupid teenagers, they've got no friends, they live in their mum's basement. And I get why people say this. They want me not to be afraid, and they want, in a way, to protect themselves from having to imagine that there might be people with these kind of horrific attitudes who actually have any influence in our society. And I wish it was true, but I'm sorry to tell you that it simply isn't. In particular, there's a very notorious internet abuser who not only is married with children, but who has now been named as a UKIP candidate in the upcoming European elections. This guy is called Carl Benjamin. You might know him, though, as Sargon of Akkad, which is the name that he uses on YouTube, and one assumes World of Warcraft. I mean, why not just have politicians who are best known by their World of Warcraft names? I assume that's how we ended up with Lord Adonis. His videos, by the way, I mean, he makes videos that some of them are several hours long. He's made hate videos about me specifically that last up to an hour. Like, I make videos expressing my opinions and I try to keep them to 5 minutes because I feel like I don't want anybody to have that much time eaten up. Let's just get to the point and deal with it. They're so self-indulgent. And why not, right? At one point, this guy was making $12,000 a month on Patreon, being sponsored to make these hate videos. And, you know, if you would all like to get 10 friends to sponsor me, hey, we could make a lot more videos that would last a lot longer and have a lot more research, and you could get paid, and other people helping out. It would be great. People are saying that his inclusion into UKIP marks a shift, you know, that UKIP is shifting to the right. And I would argue that it's more complicated than that. First of all, he describes himself as a centrist, as so many people with really extreme views do. Secondly, I would argue that in a lot of ways it's more about the mainstreaming of really vile abusers. You know, this is not somebody with who is kind of respecting the political discourse or expressing opinions. This is someone who is just a bag of hate, spewing stuff. I said that he's made videos about me. Let's have a look and see what his opinion of me is.
I've never heard "shut up bitch" being said so politely. Give it up, you shrieking harpies. An unreasonable, hysterical harridan.
And quite a few of those clips are from a video he made called "Feminism is the Establishment." Like, oh, I so wish I'd be running things. Can you imagine? It would be awesome. Later in that same video, the programme, The Big Questions, which he's dissecting, features a woman called Jane Fay, and you might know her. I know her quite well. I don't sort of necessarily agree with everything she says on everything, but she's an interesting woman, and I'm quite good friends with her when we meet on these kind of debate shows. And she's also a trans woman. And let's have a listen to the way that he describes her when he gets the chance.
What do you think your odds of being raped are? Because I don't think they're quite as high, maybe, as some other women.
And aside from the horrific misogyny, the horrific transphobia inherent in that, it's this really, really weird idea that he keeps telling women how rapeable they are. And he did this again. It's come to light as his candidacy has been put forward, that he told the Labour MP Jess Phillips that he wouldn't even rape her. Like, he seems to think that telling people he would rape them is a compliment. Oh, you would rape me? Why, thank you. And he also seems to have totally misunderstood that rape is somehow about sex, when we all know that rape is about power and rape is a form of abuse. And I mean, if rape was really about runaway sexual desire, there'd be warnings on makeup, right? Don't put on too much mascara because people in the neighbourhood will lose control and be unable to prevent themselves from assaulting you. Britain's Next Top Model would be a show about a group of women so devastatingly genetically beautiful that they have to go around fully armed at all times in case men lose control in the streets. It's got nothing to do with sex. It's got everything to do with power. And the idea, anyway, that you can go around giving women your feedback on how rapeable they are. This is exactly the sort of dialogue that it should not be a part of politics. And of course, he's been asked to apologise and he's refused to do so because he says it's political correctness gone mad. But isn't the insanity in going around thinking you can tell women how rapeable they are? This is just the epitome of not UKIP being dragged to the right, but the whole political discussion being dragged to the right. That once upon a time I could sit here and say, I think we should keep the NHS well funded. And now I'm having to sit here and say, I don't think it's okay for politicians to describe women based on how rapeable they are. It's not about UKIP, it's about the whole political discourse being shifted to the right. And we need to just draw a line and say this kind of stuff is wholly, wholly unacceptable. He shouldn't be having this conversation with me. He should be having it with a judge. Because if this isn't, malicious communication, harassment, incitement to hatred on all sorts of levels, then I don't really know what is. Is this guy a suitable person for us even to be discussing as a possible candidate? You know what? I'm going to let him play it out. See what you think.
For a fucking feminist! For fuck's sake, it's fine for men because men are naturally like that. On average, most men are like that.